Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Yeah, actually, the software is not responding properly, so there is slight delay. So please bear with me. Inshallah, I will start it soon. So my voice is clear. If it's not clear, you can put a message. About the clarity of my voice. So I'm engineer Abuzar working with Adapt Natural Power Company. So I'm looking for technicality involved in the projects, and actually I'm also looking for designing of LV and NV distribution system and switchgear. So I have almost 4 years of experience in project installation, commissioning, and making proposal, and economics involved in the project, estimation, costing of the project. So I also looking for project management in Adapt Natural Power Company. So today I'm going to explain the SLD single line diagram and design criteria for solar module mounting structure design. So first of all, I'm going to explain SLD single line diagram. So as you can see on your screen, the single line diagram, basically we know in electrical electrical engineering, the single line diagram is a main component. If you want to understand the system, the basic thing you can, the basic components and the flow of energy and flow of power you can understand from single line diagram. So on your screen, this is a single line diagram of one of projects. Okay. So in case of solar power plant, single line diagram is like a flow of power from DC to injection point. Okay. So we know that we used to generate a power by means of solar PV modules. Then we used to convert it into AC. Then we used to inject that power. We used to combine the power of various inverters, and then we used to combine in injection point at the customer's main LT panel. So the DC power is generated by these modules. Then it is that modules, that power is used to feed in the inverter by means of 4 square mm cable. So the data that you can understand and that you can get from the single line diagram is what are the components of the system. For example, in case of solar PV system, the main components are module, inverter, and electrical system like LT panel and breaker. These are like the main electrical components. So the DC power is generated by means of solar PV modules. Then that power is getting converted into AC by means of inverter, and that power is used to combine in LT panel, and then that power we use to feed in existing client LT panel or client existing electrical system. So the data that you can get is how many number of components are there. For example, if you see in this particular diagram, there are 19 modules are connected in series by means of 4 square mm cable, and then there are 5 such strings which are feeding the power to the inverter. Okay, and then afterwards that power, the inverter is converting that power DC to AC, and then we are combining that power into LT panel. Now the single line diagram will also give you the information about the protection, what protection system we use for this particular solar PV plant. For example, if you see in this, but yeah, one second, I'm just admitting all members who are wishing to connect. Yep. Okay. So in this particular LT panel, you can see we are combining the power of both inverter. Okay, and there is breaker is provided, MCB is provided. So that what's the purpose of this MCB? If you want to isolate this system from this electrical system, you just have to operate this MCB, and this system will get isolated from this existing system. And for example, in this particular case, the inverter, they are close to main LT panel, solar LT panel. But for example, if the distance between inverter and LT panel is more, then you have to give one more MCB or breaker at this point, so that for example, if your inverter is at roof and your LT panel is near to is at ground floor, so around distance is around 20 meter, 30 meter. So if you want to do the maintenance or some electrical activity here, you cannot go every time to turn off this system and to turn on. So you have to provide breaker here. So if you want to do anything, any maintenance work here, or if you want to check any parameters, you can turn off this, and then you can able to work on this particular inverter. And in a solar LT panel, there is energy meter is provided so that you can, that energy meter that used to read all electrical parameters and energy and power, real time power, and how much energy that solar power plant is generating, is supplying. And similarly, the another data that you can get from single line diagram is the number of cables and their dimensions and their types. For example, if you see in case of at DC side, the cable is 4 square mm cable, to run 4 square mm cable. Then after inverter, it's a 4 square mm, sorry, 16 square mm 4 core flexible copper cable. Then afterwards, it's a aluminum cable. And as you can see here, after this LT panel, there is one more breaker is provided. What's the purpose of this? For example, if the distance between LT panel and injection point is more. In this particular case, this LT panel, it was on the roof only. So that's why the distance between this LT panel and this breaker injection point was more. It was, for example, more than 30 meter, 40 meter. Then you have to provide one breaker at injection point. So that, for example, if you want to do anything in our solar system, you can isolate that system by means of this breaker. Okay. So that these data that you can get from single line diagram, and from single line diagram you can get idea about, you know, how many components are there, specification of the component. For example, this is a breaker, so you can get the ampere rating and fault current, how much is the fault current, whether it's 3 pole, 4 pole, the breaker. I mean, you can get the idea about electrical component. So this is like the SLD, and SLD in electrical system is important, single line diagram. So SLD is not only important for, you know, like when you start the designing of solar PV system, I mean electrical electrical flow of power. So you have to start with SLD. Okay, and the another advantage of SLD is that after installation of project, okay, if any operation and maintenance engineer is coming, so he don't know about the system because he don't have any idea, he didn't install that particular project. So he will get the idea about entire system if he understand the SLD. For example, if he understand the SLD, he will able to know, I mean, how many inverters are there, where the breaker is, how many breakers are there. So this idea he can, I mean, we can get from the SLD. So it's very important for every solar engineer or solar design engineer to understand the SLD, and if any design engineer is there, he should be able to make the SLD of solar power plant. So next is, okay, so another point is solar module mounting structure. So, you know, solar module mounting structure is also very important part in solar PV system. So module mounting structure is used to fix the solar PV modules or panels on various surfaces. The surfaces can be RCC roof, metal roof, RCC roof, and metal roof or ground. Okay, so MMS, they actually enables the fitting, retrofitting of solar PV modules on various surfaces. And the life of PV system, the life of PV system is depends on the quality and installation of module mounting structure. And you know, the warranty of PV modules, the warranty of PV modules is also depends on how you have installed and which type of structure you have selected for your project. So this is very important. I mean, for example, the warranty of modules, the manufacturer is giving the warranty of 25 years. And if you not followed the guidelines of manufacturer for installation of solar module, then you cannot claim the warranty, because you have to follow that particular, I mean, guidelines given by the manufacturer while installing the solar PV modules. Okay. So design consideration of module mounting structure. So while designing a module mounting structure, you have to taken into account some points. So first of all, the point you have to consider is importance of structure. The another point is wind zone consideration. So these are some points, and another point is a corrosion. I mean, the location where you have to install, where you are installing the solar PV system. Another point is foundation design and minimum quality check. So I'll be explaining this every point, I mean, in upcoming slides. So first of all, the importance of structure. So importance of structure is what we know. The main component in solar PV system is a module, because the cost, total cost, if we put total cost of the project is 100%, then 50 to 55% cost of the project, the cost incurred in module. So 50 to 55% valued components are resting on 3.5% valued components. So if you want like your solar system will work properly for 50 to 50, 25 to 30 years, then you have to take care about your installation and structure. The cost of structure is around 3.3 to 3.5%. So like if the quality of structure is bad, your solar PV plant will not last for a long time. So as you can see in the images on your screen, these are images for RCC installation where the foundation has been shifted its location, so that affected on entire power plant. And another point, if you see here, this is a GI roof, and this particular rail was not installed properly, so it has been shifted due to wind. So in this particular case, for example, if your installation is ground mounted installation, so no problem. If something goes wrong with the structure, that will affect on entire solar power plant. But in case of your installation is rooftop installation, for example, in case of industry, if your installation is on roof of industry, and if you not install solar power plant properly, so not only your solar power plant will damage, modules will damage, but also the existing property, you will be damaging the existing property. So that's why this is the importance of this module mounting structure. So as I told you, like while designing solar module mounting structure, you have to read about the guidelines provided by solar PV module manufacturer. So this is one guideline given by REC, solar PV module manufacturer. So what they say like there must be 60 mm gap between the upmost part of installation surface, upmost part of solar PV module mounting structure, and the low level of module, solar PV module, and the roof. So you have to maintain at least 60 mm gap. So if you not maintain this 60 mm gap, so the disadvantage will be like the temperature losses will be more. But the main disadvantage is that if anything goes wrong with your solar PV module, you will not be able to claim the warranty. So you have to take care while designing solar PV module structure. You have to take care two things. First of all, you have to follow the standards, and another is you also have to follow the guidelines given by manufacturer. So another is there are some factors you have to consider while designing module mounting structure. First one is a risk level. So as I told you, for rooftop installation, the risk level is high, because if something goes wrong, that will not only affect on solar PV system, it will also affect on existing property like the roof in case of metal sheet. And another is for ground mounted, the risk factor can be 0.9. Another factor for if you are designing module mounting structure for rooftop installation, you have to consider the height of the building, and you also have to consider, is there any building in the vicinity, because the wind speed that will affect on if there is a building in the vicinity of installation area, then the wind speed will be less. For example, and in another case, if like there is no building, if installation is like in open area, the wind speed will be more. Another factor you also have to consider cyclonic factor. For example, if your installation is in cyclonic areas, then you also have to consider like the risk level. So for example, if any cyclone is coming in the future, so your structure should be capable to sustain that cyclone. So another main point is the material which you are choosing for solar module mounting structure, it should be corrosion free. So normally the material available for solar module mounting structure, first one is aluminum. So aluminum in the sense, as you can see here, this is a short rail made up from aluminum. So aluminum, like the advantage of using aluminum is like its weight is less. So you can use aluminum structure on a metallic sheet. So because the total weight of this structure will be less on the existing structure of the building. So for example, if you are using aluminum at coastal region or at chemical factory, so you have to take care of corrosion very much as compared to if you are using aluminum at normal places. So if you're using aluminum structure for chemical factory, then you have to anodize the surface, aluminum surface. So anodization means you'll be putting some corrosion resistant material on the surface of structure, aluminum structure. So that will, increase the resistance against a corrosion. So another material which you can use for structure is hot dip galvanized. So hot dip galvanization means there will be a zinc coating on the top of iron or alloy. So that will increase the resistance to corrosion of that particular material. So another one material is a Galvalume. So this is like the new material, and it's the advantage of using Galvalume is it's have high strength and high corrosion resistance. So normally in case of hot dip galvanized structure, hot dip galvanized material, the total coating is made up of from zinc. But in case of Galvalume, the coating, it's not only from zinc, it's like 50% from aluminum, around 50% from zinc, and some percent from silicon. So this coating, due to this coating, the material will last for almost decades. So we know like our structures should last for at least 25 years. So that because the warranty of the system is 25 years, solar PV module. So your structure should also last for that much time. So that's why you have to take care about this corrosion factor. The another material is Postmac. This is like new material available in the market, and it's have very long life, and it's have good corrosion resistance, almost 5 to 10% more corrosion resistant, 5 to 10 times more corrosion resistant than hot dip galvanized. So Postmac means there is a magnesium aluminum alloy coating on the top of iron. So you can see here, this is like aluminum structure. This one is made up of from Postmac, and this one is hot dip galvanized, made up of from hot dip galvanized. Okay. So another point you have to, while designing module mounting structure, you have to take care about various forces. So uplift force, sliding force, and overturning force. These are the forces you have to take care about, and you have to calculate how much will be the maximum forces. So on the basis of this, for example, if your installation is like RCC, so the foundation dimension will be changed as per these forces. So you have to take care about these forces. Okay. And last point is while designing the module mounting structure, you have to take care about quality of component. So quality of component, the first one is the strength of material. So we know, every material have every material has its own strength. So that strength you can increase by means of coating or by means of some chemical process. So every material which you are using for manufacturing of or designing, while designing or PV module mounting structure, you should have test certificate from the manufacturer. And another point is fasteners. For example, in case of this RCC installation, you will be using fasteners at various locations. For example, at this point, at this point, at this point. So fastener should be SS304, like stainless steel, made up from stainless steel, and grade is 304. So these type of fastener, they are like corrosion resistance, and they will last. Another point you have to consider about the sealant quality. For example, in case of GI type of installation, after installing this structure, you have to put some sealant on this surface, so that there will be no leakage in the future. So you have to take care about this sealant, because if the quality of sealant is not good, you may face the leakage in existing roof. So another components are EPDM rubber and rivets. You can see here in this particular image, the rubber is used between the structure, aluminum structure, and sheet. So this rubber, EPDM rubber, this is used so that there will be no future leakage. And this is a rivet. Actually, the rivet is used to fix this aluminum short rail type structure, which I am going to explain next slides. So this rivet is used to fix this particular structure. So while selecting rivet, you should take care about the size and grip. And while calculating the grip of this particular rivet, you have to take care about thickness of this plus thickness of EPDM rubber plus thickness of sheet. So Types of module mounting structure. So types of module mounting structure depends on how your installation type is. For example, normally there are three types of installation. First of all, RCC type installation, rooftop RCC installation. Another one is rooftop GI installation, and another one is ground mounted installation. So just have a look at different types of installation. I'm going to explain each installation type, the structure for each installation type in upcoming slides. So I'm starting with module mounting structure, short rail type for metal roof. As you can see here, this is like a short rail. This is made up of from aluminum, and aluminum is anodized, okay, for corrosion resistant. Okay, the advantage of using this short rail type structure is, first of all, the cost of this particular structure is very less. Okay, and it is very easy to install. You can, you can install like this one rail in around like 4 to 5 minutes. And this type of structure is suitable for coastal areas. For example, if your location is near to sea, and so this type of structure, like, it's a corrosion resistant and it can work well at coastal areas. And for example, if the sheet quality is not that much good, so you can use you can install this particular structure by means of some adhesive, so that like there is no need to penetrate this particular GI sheet. So as you can see here, first of all, you have to install this short rail. Then you will be installing modules on the top of short rail. And as I say, the height of short rail should be such that there should be a flow of air below the modules. Because if the height is less, so heat will generate below the modules, and it will affect on the performance of the system. So because the temperature loss will be more in that particular case. So as you can see here, this is some black, you can see some black area. This black is not, it's a EPDM rubber. This rubber is used to so that there will be no leakage in the future. Another type of structure is a long rail. Okay. So for example, if the distance between purlin into existing structure is more, for example, if it's more than 1.5 meter, so there's a chance like there will be a sag in the sheet. And if the quality of sheet is not that much good, then in that particular case, you don't have any option to go for long rail type of installation. The cost of long rail is bit more as compared to short rail. But if the scenario is like this, like the distance between the purlin is more and the quality of sheet is not good, then you have to go for long rail type of installation. So long rail type, you can increase the height and you can increase the distance between the modules and existing sheet. Distance between the modules and existing sheet up to 110 mm. So again, this is very easy to install. As you can see here, you have to first of all install this L-Kilid by means of self-tapping screw. So normally the self-tapping screw came with EPDM washer. So that EPDM washer will avoid the leakage in the future. Then you have to install the rail on that particular L-Kilid, and then on the top of that rail, you have to install the solar PV modules by means of clamps, L clamps and mid clamps. So as you can see here, there is sealant used. That sealant is, it's used to avoid of any future leakage in this particular sheet. So this is RCC type structure. So this is a double ported, like there are two modules which are installed like on one structure. So the advantage of this structure is, like, for example, if you are RCC roof, so this structure is available in both, like in penetrative form and non-penetrative form. So for example, if waterproofing of your particular roof is not done properly, and if you don't want to penetrate this structure, then you can install the you can use the methodology, you can follow the methodology without penetration. Okay. So as you can see here, this structure is made up of from hot dip galvanized material, and you can maintain the tilt from 5 degree to 25 degree as per your convenience. For example, if in any particular location, if optimum tilt is around 15 degree or 13 degree, so you can construct this structure in 15 degree tilt. And for example, in Medina location, particularly if you consider, So around like the latitude is around 24 degree. So you can construct this structure in 25 degree tilt. So height of the structure, you can increase the height of structure. For example, normally the height of this structure is around 1 meter or less than 1 meter in some cases. But for example, if you want to increase the height, for example, if someone wants to use the area below this particular module, then this structure can be constructed in up to 1.8 meter height. So another type is a low elevation ballast type structure. So as you can see here, the height of structure is very less, around 200 to 300 mm. So for example, the advantage of this structure is this type of installation is you can increase the maximum capacity of the system. For example, if you consider this particular case, in this particular case, for example, this is your one table, and if you want to install another table, then you have to maintain the pitch between these two tables so that the shadow of these modules should not fall on the should not fall on another modules. But in case of this ballast type of structure, so you don't need to maintain that much space. For example, this is east-west type of installation. So you can see here there is no much distance maintained between these two modules. So the capacity, total installed capacity, can be increased up to 20% if you go for this type of structure. And the advantages is it's very easy to install and simple in installation and can be installed in very short time. Okay. The another advantage is like you can construct this structure from 5 to 20 degree, and the cost of structure, this type of structure, is less as compared to this hot dip galvanized type structure. So these are some projects which I worked on which I worked on. So this is the one project you can see here. The PV modules are installed on the top of metal sheet by means of long rail. Actually, long rail is not visible, but these modules are installed on the top of sheet by means of long rail. Similarly, same procedure followed here, and you can see here there is a gap between the module. So if you want to do any maintenance work, you can use this gap. So there's a walkway has been placed in the place between these two row of modules. So if you want to do any maintenance work, you can walk, you can use this space. Okay, this is some pictures of one of the project. Okay, so you can see here in this particular project there are two types of structure used. First of all, this is like east-west type of installation where I have used, one second, I have used low elevation ballast type structure, this type of structure, okay, at this particular location. And in this particular location, you can see I have used hot dip galvanized type structure, okay. Hot dip galvanized type, this type of structure. So actually the selection of structure, it depends on the first of all, the location of the project and how much capacity you want to install. For example, if you want to install more capacity, for example, in this particular case, if you go for this type of structure, the total capacity will be very less. But this low elevation ballast type of structure, the total capacity of the system is more. So another type of module mounting structure is ground mounted type. So in this particular case, again, the hot dip galvanized type structure used, but the installation methodology is quite different. I mean, as compared to RCC rooftop installation. In this particular case, for example, if you have ample space available and the vast ground available, and there is no use of that particular ground, so you can go for this type of structure. So this type of structure, it's have more advantages. First of all, you can go for optimum tilt, okay, which is not possible in case of, for example, in case of metal roof type installation. For example, if this type of installation is there, so if you want to maximize, if you want to install maximum capacity, so you have to go with whatever the tilt of the roof is. But in case of ground mounted installation, you can go with optimum tilt, okay. And another advantage is the temperature loss in case of ground mounted installation is less, because the flow of air in this particular type of installation is more, as compared to another type of installation. For example, if you consider this structure, okay, the distance between the module and the roof is less, but in case of this, the distance between the ground and module is more, so there will be flow of air continuously, so temperature losses will be less. Okay, so another type of another type of structure is like adjustable tilt structure and with the trackers. Okay, so first I'm going to explain adjustable tilt type of structure. So adjustable tilt in the sense, like for example, you will be able to adjust the tilt of your particular plant as per the season. For example, if your optimum tilt is this, okay, and we know, like in case of summer, in summer season, the solar is following this path. Okay, so the sun is available for very long time, so you can change the tilt of this particular PV modules. Okay, and in case of winter season, you can see here the direction of sun is like this. Okay, so the number of hours in case of winter season, I mean, on which the solar modules will get irradiance will be less, so you have to increase the tilt in case of winter season. So this type of structure also available, but this is like you have to maintain you have to increase or decrease the tilt manually. So there is option available on the structure where you can manually adjust the tilt. Okay, this is like a manual type of adjustable tilt type of structure. But if your site is like very far and in a remote location, so it's not possible for you to adjust the tilt. Also, adjusting the tilt, like it's require huge manpower, and like the cost of operation and maintenance will be more. So you can go with the tracker type of installation. Okay, so the tracker, as the name indicates, the tracker means we are tracking something, and what we are going to track, so obviously the sun, because the power will be generated from the sun. So in this particular case, you will be tracking the solar, I mean, for example, where the solar, your structure will adjust the tilt automatically as per the solar position. For example, in this particular case, if you are using horizontal axis tracking system, then for example, if the sun is there in this morning, so these modules will adjust the tilt as per the location of solar. For example, after afternoon, if the location of solar is here, so these modules will automatically adjust the tilt. Okay, so this is like horizontal single axis tracking, and the another type is vertical axis tracking. So okay, so as I told you, you also have to follow the sun path, because the sun path is different. In case of summer season, it's different. In case of winter season, it's different. So this can be adjusted by using this single axis tracking, vertical type. So horizontal type of tracking, it will work for one day, but single axis vertical type of tracking, it will work seasonally. For example, in particular season, if the sun is, for example, in summer season, if the sun is following this path, so automatically the tracker will adjust the tilt as per this. Okay, so another one is dual axis tracking. In case of dual axis tracking, you are like the tracker, I mean, you are tracking the solar sun path in the day also, and seasonal wise also. So whatever the generation will be there, in case of dual axis tracking, it will be more as compared to single axis tracking. So in next slide, this is like the generation data from different types of structure. Okay, first one is a fixed one, another one is single axis, another one is this one is dual axis tracking. Okay, so the generation from dual axis tracking is more from as compared to another type of tracking system. And for example, if the generation from fixed type of installation is around 100%, so there will be almost 24% more. There will be almost 24%. For example, in the month of Jan, there will be a 24% more energy generation from dual axis tracking system. But I mean, if you use any new technology, so there are some limitations and there are some advantages. So advantage of this is like the generation is more, but another point is the operation and maintenance cost of the system will increase, and the total cost of the system will also increase, because if your tracking is automatic tracking, then you have to the cost of the motor, cost of the sensors, and the cost of the structure will be more. So like the capital, I mean, the investment on that particular project will be more, but the return on investment will be less. Okay, so it depends. I mean, while choosing fixed type of installation or tracking type of installation, you have to take care about how much is your cost you are going to incurred in solar PV module installation, and another point is how much payback period you want. Okay, and another point is how much space available, because tracking type of installation, it will require more space as compared to fixed type of installation. So this is like all about like some basics you have to take care about while designing or while selecting the solar module mounting structure. So as a conclusion, I can say, if you're selecting any type of structure, so you have to first of all take care of how much capacity you are going to install. Another is like the location of your plant. For example, if your location is chemical factory, so you have to go with the structure with uh, for example, corrosion, it should be corrosion resistance, high degree of corrosion resistance. Okay, and for example, if your installation is ground mounted, in this particular case ground mounted type of installation, so you have to take care about, I mean, the ground, okay, quality of soil, because if the soil is hard, then you have to, I mean, the foundation will be like normal one, but if the soil is soft, then the installation methodology will change. You have to increase the height and dimension of this foundation. Okay, and for example, if your installation is in desert, like in Saudi Arabia, if the installation is in the desert area, then this particular foundation, I mean, the dimension will change. It will be the cost of foundation will be more as compared to the installation in soil, hard type of soil. So these are some points you have to take care about, I mean, while selecting the type of structure. So this is like I'm concluding. Okay, so now you can, if you have any query related to this single line diagram and module mounting structure, you can ask, you can write in the chat box.
Okay, guys. So there was one question which was frequently asked. I went through the chat box. I saw that there was one question regarding NEC rules. So basically, I would like to tell you that, see, as per the guidelines from SKICO, okay, so you should follow 690, NEC 690 for solar installation, okay. But as per, there is new upgradation into that particular rules, okay. So basically, now you need to refer the latest version. So what it refers that, you know, now in 2017 NEC rule, you should have a rapid shutdown at the modular level. Okay. So if you are using a micro inverter, suppose right now you're using a micro inverter, so you are basically fulfilling that criteria. Okay. Or otherwise, for a big particular project, the other companies are working on it. Suppose you have a particular brand inverter, so they are going to provide you something which called a box, which is going to be as your protection system. And talking about that modular protection, the module, you know, the module manufacturer are also in process to bring up few new technologies into that. So in upcoming times, we see that there will be a solution to this particular rule. Okay, but this type of thing is increasing the cost of the project. So right now, I mean, before installing a particular project, I think you should have a contact with the rules and regulations given by electricity board company, and you can have a discussion before taking any conclusion. Okay, so that was about the question asked before. Now we'll start with this session.
So I would like to tell you one thing, like whatever the types of structure I have explained. Okay, so we are expertise in designing that type, I mean, solar PV system with that type of structure. So if anyone here from the developer or from any EPC company, so we can give you the consultancy services for designing of solar PV system with different types of structure. Okay. So if you have any such like query, you can use, I mean, you can contact us directly. MMS, the question is, MMS stands for what? Module mounting structure, like it's a shortcut. What is the best tool we can use to ensure earthing of the PV modules? Best tool. Okay. Tool in the sense, I mean, earthing of PV module is very easy. You just have to run 4 square mm cable, I mean, copper cable, and 6 square mm aluminum cable. And you just have to connect on that. There's one hole provided on the bottom side of the solar PV module. So you just have to connect that particular cable by means of lug. You need a breaker on DC side of the inverter. Okay, actually there is no need, because already the breaker is provided, protection is available in the inverter. So technically there is no need. But if, for example, if you there is, I mean, some rules and regulation from some company, then you have to follow that. Otherwise, technically there is no need. what is the average cost of PV system per kilowatt peak? Actually, the cost of system, it depends on, I mean, how much is the capacity. So, I mean, whatever the project, I mean, in our case, it will be around 3.5 3.5 real per watt peak. So it will be less. It will be less, very less. For example, if your system is more than 100 kilowatt, 200 kilowatt, so it will be around 2.7 to 3 real per watt peak. Depends on the system installation type also. For example, if the RCS installation cost will be more, GIA installation cost will be less. Okay. So actually, we explained, I mean, some basic points about batteries in last webinar. So you can, I mean, if you have any query about that battery, you can reach us, I mean, via Twitter. When we design the PV system depends on yearly overall loads or the highest seasonal load. Actually, actually it depends. I mean, whether you are going for net metering and going for without net metering, it depends on that. Okay, but normally we take care about average load. For example, if you are going without net metering, so you should know about, I mean, what's the minimum load on the system, because if you are going without net metering, if generation is more than load, I mean, that will get wasted. Can you please send the presentation? Yeah, we will send the presentation. How to calculate DC cable size? Okay, DC cable size, like it depends on current, DC current and the distance. Okay, but normally 4 square mm DC cable is sufficient. But you know, 4 square mm cable, it's not like normal cable, because there are the cable which is available for solar module. 4 square mm cable, it's not normal cable, it's like with thick insulation, because that cable is I mean, should last for 25 years. So that's why it should be UV resistant. And you can use some software.
See, depending upon the voltage drop also, you can calculate the DC cable size. But I'll give you a thumb rule. Suppose your string size, okay, from the last panel to your inverter, suppose the distance is more than 50 meter, I would recommend 50 or 60 meter, then I would recommend you to go for 6 square mm copper cable. Okay, so this basically depends upon the voltage drop calculation as per your rules and regulation provided by the electrical board company. They suggest that your DC loss should not go above 2%. So depending upon that calculation, you can calculate your DC cable, okay, size of DC cable.
Okay. So there's question like, technically you need breaker on DC side. Actually, it depends on inverter also. For example, in case of HOA inverter, so there are switch available to isolate the DC side. So in that particular case, no need to use DC side DC breaker. But for example, if you are going for some other type of inverter where you don't have DC breaker, I mean DC side of isolation, so you have to use the DC breaker in that particular case. Solar energy speed. In your opinion, why did not solar energy spread in homes? So okay, actually,
okay. So basically, actually, if you're Faisal, if you're talking about why people are not switching to solar for homes, I would like to tell you that, see, it is basically a financial call. Okay, and what are the benefits you are getting from solar? So talking about on-grid project in Saudi Arabia, if you see the payback period for small capacity project is almost close to 9 years, 9 years or 10 years. So we expect that in upcoming time, if the electricity board company or the government offers some subsidy or comes up with some different policies which is suitable and which give you some compensation in the size of the price for installing a solar project, then many people will use solar for home. Okay, as the tariff in Saudi Arabia is very less, you have a flat you have a tariff of 18 halala up to 6,000 units, and above that you have 20 halala. So it is very less. That's why people are not much switching to solar nowadays. Okay, could you please? Yeah, we'll share the sites for the webinar. Don't worry about that. Okay. Okay. So I hope. Okay, the EF tariff for small PV is 7 halala.
EF tariff means like what you are talking about.
Okay,
I mean the feeding
net
of
metering, yeah.
with net metering. Yeah, it's 7 halala given by SPCO. I mean regulations.
Okay, so next, how we calculate the wind load and design the module structure is the code or like that. See, depend if you see the SKICO guidelines for installation of project, you can check the wind speed mentioned by them. Okay, and then according to that value, whenever you buy a particular structure, you need to ask the manufacturer or the designer to provide you with the structure which can fulfill that particular value.
Hybrid system. What is the best use of BESS to ensure cost effective? Okay, actually it depends. I mean,
Is there a certificate for this lecture? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope the questions are finished. Okay. So basically, guys, before concluding the lecture, I would like to wish all of you on behalf of ANP Ramadan Kareem. I hope may Allah's blessings be upon us during this whole month, and we will try to get more and more ajr in this month, and hope the situation of corona is also solved by the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I wish all of you Ramadan Mubarak from ANP. Okay, before leaving the webinar, I would like everyone of you to write down your name and email ID. And this I am telling strictly because if your name is not present in the chat box, your details are not present in the chat box, will not be able to send you the certificate. And then please do not tweet us asking for the certificates. So if you it will be very good if you can give your details, your full name and the email ID in the chat box. Okay. Okay. And if you have any query, you can reach us on our company Twitter account or our personal Twitter account. And if also follow us on Twitter. So we are going to come up with more such informative data in upcoming time. Okay. So if you want to join us in that particular session, be updated on Twitter. Okay.
And for example, if anyone here who is from some company, EPC company, or anyone wants to install the solar power system on his area, for example, in Villa, you guys can contact us directly on, we have our website, npsolutions.sa.com, and you can message on Twitter. So actually we can give us the consultancy services for EPC companies, and for normal customer, we can design a solar power plant. We can install the solar power plant on, on your location. Yeah, actually, because our team, we have expertise in designing solar power plant installation, and we have experience of almost designing and installation of megawatt scale projects. So like we have good experience. So if you have any such projects, and you can directly contact us.
Okay, guys, if you have wrote down your details into the chat box, I will ask you all guys to leave this webinar. I hope we are concluding this webinar here only. Okay, thank you all of you.